As I mentioned in one of my other videos, IRC is revamping their tire line from cyclocross to gravel to mountain biking. And so in this video, we're going to be testing the cyclocross tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install these on my wheels. Cyclocross season for me starts in 1 week, and then I'm going to race these next weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, and see how they do. So like I said, today's installation, and we'll see how these go on, because if they don't go on well, then the test is over, because I don't like messing around with tires that don't go on easily. So right now I currently have a pair of Maxxis tires on my cyclocross wheels. So these are the Maxxis all-terrain, and I raced these last year and really like them. So these tires are tubeless, which is a requirement for me. If they weren't tubeless, we wouldn't be making this video. They're light. They're really light, actually. All right, let's get these on a wheel, see how they go on. Okay, so the one bead went on. Okay, it was a little tight. I did have to use a plastic tire lever for the last little bit, which I've had to do before. All right, so these aired up pretty well. I probably put about 40 PSI, and one of the beads didn't lock in, didn't pop up, and I was just getting ready to add some more air, and then it popped into place. So it wasn't too bad. You know, I'd rather have a bead that's a little bit tight than one that's loose, because when you're cornering in a cyclocross race, you want that extra confidence of knowing the bead's into place. All right, let's compare the tread pattern to the Maxxis. So the IRC is on the right and the Maxxis on the left, just in case you're curious to see how these would compare. So the side knobs are pretty similar. They're a little lower on the IRC, and you can see that the center knobs on the Maxxis have a little bit more ramping. I don't know how that's going to affect the speed, but we'll see when we get these tires on the race course. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying these. So yeah, these look really good. And by the way, these are set up so that you run them one direction for the rear and one direction for the front. So you got to make sure you pay attention to the direction arrows, which I did not do when I put the IRCs on my son's mountain bike. I put the front tire on the wrong direction. We had to fix it after I made that video, in case you watched that. All right, the next time you see these, it'll be on the race course in a week. All right, so I'm back out for day 2 of my cyclocross racing, and I want to give a review of these tires after racing them yesterday. So I feel like these tires are very fast. I like the round profile because when you transition into a corner, there's no what I call flopping. So it kind of starts to corner and then edges over really quickly. You don't get that with these tires. There's very little noise on pavement. So let me start with kind of talking about how they roll on pavement, because I did a day or 2 training before I came out here to the cyclocross race, and they roll really smoothly. I wasn't sure because they didn't have the ramping that the Maxxis tires that I was using have, but they ended up being fine. So on the cyclocross course, I felt like on pavement they sprinted well. I didn't feel like any drag with the tires as I was riding. And then on the grass, they gripped really well. Like I mentioned earlier, the shoulder knobs, the side knobs were not quite as prominent as the Maxxis that I was using, but these cornered excellently. They're light. I feel like the tires are really flickable. I'm gonna keep racing them all season and let you know kind of what they're like as far as how they wear. You know, I did set them up tubeless obviously, and they have a really nice compliance. I even rode these on a trail, you know, before the cyclocross race weekend, and they did fine on the trail. You know, I've been running 40Cs, so I had to be careful over roots, because you can really compress these and, you know, hit your rim on a root, but they do conform really well. On the cyclocross course, they rolled smoothly. You know, I've never really gotten into tubular cyclocross tires. I've never ridden them. I've ridden tubular road tires before, but not cyclocross, so I can't really do a comparison. But you know, a good compliant tubeless tire like this, not having to deal with the hassle of gluing on a tubular tire, I can't see a tubular being much better than like I said, a good tubeless tire. The conditions obviously were not very muddy. As you can see in the video, it's a very dry, very hot day of racing. There was some sand, some pretty loose sand in some sections, off-camber sand, and the tires did great. So I've yet to try these in mud. That's probably coming up later on in the season as we get more into the cooler months when the rain comes. So that will wrap up this review of the IRC Serac CX tires in the tubeless version, 700 by 32C. Good tire, really good tire, liking these. Like I said, I'll report back, do a follow-up video on some future racing in mud and talk about longevity. Thanks for watching.